Hey, good morning. I wasn't talking there in Zoom. That's why I didn't hear anything. I was typing something in the green room here. All right, so markets are moving up on the I guess follow through from yesterday and news this morning. I guess it was retail sales and there's other things coming out sometime today. Let me just take a look here. If you're interested to look yourselves for the future. Let's see here. It's Monday today. There's a Fed guy speaking at 9:15 and 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. Business inventories, consumer sentiment. That could be a market mover. Be careful there at 10 o'clock. All right. So where are we at here now? Markets are moving up. Where are they moving up to? Next question, of course. Where's resistance? Is there a void? And you can see my crosshair there moving right up into that pivot on the 60-minute chart. So it's headed right into the swing high there. But even though it's at resistance, the fact that it broke lower here, you can see here on yesterday, it moved under that pivot low and then recovered. And now the retracement is up to this pivot. So a little breakdown failure and a deep retracement. It's a decent start to at least, let's say, holding this level for now. So as I look at this and I see this on, a bunch of charts, and so every pattern creates a thought, and that a thought is not a strategy. It's not a reason to take action, but some charts look a bit different than others. So obviously we have a potential for a trading range, which means it could eventually get up here, which, okay, next week, or that consumer sentiment number could be not good and it rolls over. But some charts, this is a lower high. So as I look at it, I think, hey, you know what? Because I'm not totally bullish here, thinking that this is the bottom, whether this could become a head and shoulders top and then the next leg down. We'll see what happens into next week. Clearly, the weekly trend is still down. It's just in a trading range. We'll see where the weekly bar ends today. That 10 o'clock number could take what's happening here and send it right back down, or maybe, further up. Right. So it's always up to where. So looking at what's happening here and then thinking about zero DTE. If prices are moving up, I'm thinking bear call spread. Down here on SPY, probably won't be any premium, but can it get up here is the question. I don't think so. I don't. Right. So 388, which would put it up here. Can it travel from here? And it's gapping up 381 and change. Right. So for the moment, it's here. Can it travel, up to this area? That would be a big bar. So I guess it could. It could. This is a larger consolidation that happened here. So there was the initial gap up in 3 days of congestion. So to fuel a move like that makes sense after 3 days of congestion, especially after a bottoming tail bar. Whereas this just is at the bottom of the range, and can it move from the bottom of the range to the top of the range in 1 day? Hell no. Can it move here? Maybe, but that would be a pretty far distance, which raises the question, is there premium in SPY call spread, say up here? Probably not. I haven't looked, but most of the time, these just don't have the juice that SPX does. So SPX, is kind of wild how it can move. It typically is juiced up pretty high to where it, becomes relatively safe to do a bear call spread as prices are moving up and the premiums are juicing up. And so now that this moved up, maybe even a little bit more, because I had written down 38.95, but if you can do 3,900, that will definitely be a wall, because there's always going to be open interest there. And I'm just taking a look here. 3,900. The weeklies, right? So today's option expiration. So the monthlies are expiring and the weeklies are 80 by 90. That's pretty good. And the way this is moving up, if you can get 3905, which is, you still can. It's 50 by 65. Can it get above that? I would say no. No, it's not going to get above that. Not today. That's an opinion, right? Not a fact. It's an opinion. It's all we do with trades is we have opinions. So futures are up here at these two pivots. You can see the head and shoulders type of a bottom here, right? Downside shakeout and consolidation, bullish price action. So could it get up here? I think it is possible that it could get up there now, and it could get up there by 10 o'clock as that, that number's coming out, the consumer number. So looking up here above 3,900, I'm going to say I think it should be a no-brainer. Right? If this is running up here, you could probably do the spread up here. So a little watching, it's a balancing act with these things. A little watching, it stalls. Premium starts to evaporate pretty fast when it's a 0 DTE day. Now, again, it's the beginning of the day. Who knows what this is going to look like by the end of the day? But so far, if we've got 3 bottoming tail bars on the weekly chart by the end of today, and it clears this on Monday, you could have a bit of a rally into this little void up above here, which isn't going to change the trend on the weekly time frame, but the depth of retracement will be something bullish. So, we got to see step by step as we look at these multiple time frames and assess. Right now, it's just a trading range, so nothing to get too excited about, but could be the start of something. Right? And as of today, it could get a bit high, it could get a bit higher. So you see where my cursor is. These 2 days on the daily chart line up with those pivots up there. So the idea of a bear call spread above this area here is logical to me. All right. And I didn't even look on the downside, but, I would only do that if the markets start to nosedive after 10 o'clock. And then, to look down here, as it's moving up, I'm only considering the call side. Just looking to see if there's any premium. I don't think so. Scrolling here. 37, 37.30, 37 and a quarter. That's interesting. That's interesting that there's actually premium down there. So again, if it starts to move down at 10 o'clock, it could be more, but 37 and a quarter to think will it go down there today? I would say no. That would be a hell of a turn. So I don't think so. So that is a consideration, even though prices are moving up here. All right. Other markets. All right. NASDAQ futures up 110 points. You look at the chart and you say, well, other than intraday, big deal, right? Possibly a higher low. We talked about this as far as, these are highs, but some stocks are making lower highs and then higher lows. So earlier in the week, I know in the green room we talked about this, but maybe here pre-market about the spring being wound. So again, we'll see how far this gets today. But you see the stall right here, right into these pivots. Just look at this. Simply look to the left for support and resistance. Right? Those that have their fib lines here and VWAPs and all of that, it's just noise on your chart. Whatever. All right, Dow. Jacob's telling me 37.10. Yeah, I mean, look. Will this get down here today, 37.10? I think it's some catastrophe would have to happen. You know, Kamala Harris takes over as president. Yeah, maybe 3,600, but under normal conditions, 37.10 should not be in the realm of possibilities with a chart like this. Right? So yes, Jacob, thanks for sharing. All right, Qs. 389. You can see this congestion here, 390, a whole number. Can it get up here? I don't think so, right? And who knows what else, Lawrence? All right. Dow. That's, this is the Russell. That isn't even taken out yesterday's high. So relative weakness, but again, looking to the left, that's way down there, but intraday, it could get up there. So we have to put upside targets, areas where we believe sellers will show up in whatever the instrument is that we're going to trade. Now, Bitcoin, ping pong, right? I guess that's what you could call this, a ping pong, top of the range, breakout failure, bottom of the range, coming back up, just more running in place. So I wouldn't have faulted anybody for buying it down here, as, with a stop down below here. But, just put what is the chart is reality. And we've got sellers here and buyers there. May ask, sir, what is candle behave in space concept between 20, 50, and 200? Sunil Ray, the space between the moving averages is created by momentum, right? Momentum, right? Price momentum, how fast prices are moving, right? Will move away. If it's like this is moving to the downside rapidly, it has to move away from the moving averages. They can't keep up unless you put like a 2-period moving average. Some people use 8 EMAs to try and keep up with price and use that as a reference point. But we call these visual aids. So the further the distance between, you can see here, this was closer together. Over here, it was closer together. When they're close together, that means there's consolidation. And so over here, as they get further apart, that means there's been acceleration. When the 20 MA, which is what we use, 20 simple MA, starts intersecting prices after being pointed down, it means there's consolidation. So that's just a visual aid kind of a way. In addition, 20 MA on the daily chart, 50 MA is the same as the 10 MA on the weekly chart. So the weekly's trending down, and the 200 MA is equal to the 10 MA on the monthly chart. All time frames are down. The daily is beginning to flatten out. All right. Those pivot zones are standard or based on ATR or something else. I'm not sure what you mean by pivot zone, Stephen. I think so. You meaning this? Okay. I draw those on the charts. So by definition, pivot high is 3 lower highs to the left and right. Pivot low, 3 higher lows to the left and right. So then I just take my little tool over here and I go like this, and it draws a little zone. And then I, just kind of defaults to that, I guess, in the platform. And then I have a template set up, and because that is resistance, I just click that and it just turns it red. So it's just a visual thing, right? Yes, that's all it is. Nothing proprietary. It's just telling the software and mark that bar if it's got 3 lower highs to the left and right, and vice versa. And TradeStation calls it something else. I had a script written for eSignal, but that's all it does. Many years ago, I don't think eSignal has a default for that. TAS may have it or is written. So nothing, here, pivot high on the daily chart here. And these were equal, so it doesn't mark it as a pivot. But if you see 2 bars together like that, you know, in a lower time frame, there's going to be a pivot up there. All right, silver moving up here, a little reprieve, and this could be a breakdown bar failure. What is a breakdown bar failure? Well, it's when you have a consolidation and then a wide range bar breaking down and then an inside day. So I don't know this is an inside day because the day is just beginning. It could be a bullish 180 reversal if it rallies up there, and that would be much more positive. It does have a void. But if it's a little narrow range day at the bottom of the range here, that usually results, if it takes out the high, some short covering, which could drive it above there. No, Thane, I don't believe it is at support. It's close, right? It's close. So I always mark the bottom, but look, we could mark it like that and say it is entering an area of support, and it is entering, a whole number. So yeah, that does make sense why this is happening. So whenever I see a pattern like this happen, the next thought comes, right? We have a thought process. The next thought comes is why? Why is this pattern forming? Right? So a bottoming tail bar, well, that could be anticipating buying early, but if there's nothing to the left, I discount that bottoming tail bar if it's not a support. Now this is close to support. So we're yet to be seen whether this is actually an inside day or what it does by the end of the day. Right. Well, the 5-minute chart, little breakout failure there. Okay, so now I would intraday, I'd be watching this to see if this actually follows through. But if I was long, I'd be getting out of that long. Right, gold, similar, right? Wide range bar. That is closer to an area of support. Right? So we'll see what this does today and going into next week. And if this is stabilizing, I imagine, right? I can see this is green, but the euro should be beginning to stabilize if gold and silver are starting to move up, which means that the dollar must be retracing a little bit. You can see the little dots down here. So it's gapping down. And that's another thing that the market is going to like, that the dollar is backing off. And if this is backing off, which it is a little bit, it's still in a super uptrend. It's a little extended. So that would make sense that the 3-week would back off a little bit and the market would like that, but it's only like little short-term things. Yen, someone's asking about the yen. So I don't have Forex on here. I don't look at Forex, but you can see dollar yen is, let's look at the monthly since there's no support here. All right. So we always got to look to the left when we go to higher time frames. And so it's coming, it's actually broken below that. Maybe a breakdown bar failure. Maybe, pretty erratic and whippy. I don't like that hourly chart, the way it's just whipping back and forth. All right. So transports should be stabilizing. We don't get pre-market data, but yesterday was a bottoming tail bar, and so some stabilization there. So look, for today, starting out the day, things are positive. This number's backing off a little bit. Little failure, upside shake out there. But there, so far, so good for at least today within the trading range. Well, yours, Dan. Monthly silver. It doesn't stop here. It's a long way to go down.
Are you done?
Yep. Yeah, it's taking a little time to bring up SLV. Go ahead.
Good morning. Happy 0DTE day. So yesterday into the close in the nightly video, I said spiders. There were 2 days that it negated bearish price action and bearish inflation numbers. And so you got to take note of that. I said over yesterday's high, today we should have put spread galore. And the problem is spiders are up $4. I would have preferred it to open right here up to this first green bar on the 15-minute chart. So, Greg mentioned the breakout fail in their 5, so we just gotta chill here and see what the retracement looks like. We have a couple open put spreads. All the opens are fine. I see all the fangs 15-minute charts are in high gear. Tesla's always the usual suspect, 0 DTE. We have an Amazon put spread already. I'm looking to add for next week. AMD was on my watch list yesterday, put spread. SMH had a nice close. I just posted MU, gapping up from, not a textbook head and shoulders because its left shoulder is not as horizontal, but a beautiful igniting consolidation, gap up, price void. Look at that weekly. You got 2 patterns there. You got a 180 reversal plus a 1, 2, 3. So that's in total alignment with the daily. So I gave 2 trades here, put spread and directional long 30-minute high. Walmart was on our list from yesterday, wide range closing breakout. So Greg, when you were doing your thing yesterday, both marijuana and also the Bitcoin stocks. So I got us into Mara. Look at little Riot here bottoming. I got us into Mister. So MSOS is just a watch, but I got us into ACB. Little bottoming pattern. We're already in Tilray from a week ago. So both of these sectors, I think we can play the stocks and ETFs, stocks and options, Roblex. I guess like the weekly bottoming. See if we can get a good entry on the daily. EBTL. I just saw this thing rocketing today. We'll come back to it. Steel. Look at Steel still not participating. I mean, look at that, $49 to 45.5 in 2 days. Wow, commodities. Retail number at 820. So, yes, well, today's Friday. On Wednesday, we did a MT Live on classical patterns. And then, this was a massive descending triangle with declining 20, 50, 200. But we also talked about, how to properly interpret that and trade them, but also failure patterns. So, the entry here is a breakdown or some type of upside shakeout continuation. Now it's gapping up a little bit. This could be the start of the little apex where it starts a bottoming pattern. Now, the monthly is a Climo, so that's extended. Weekly is still a bear 1, 2, 3. So I got conflicting time frames here. It's just something to, we talk about bottoming patterns, they don't just come out with a yellow light saying, all right, I'm bottom to buy me. There's clues. Vonage, is that a buyout? Look how when things just gap up and just go tight sideways, that looks like a buyout at 21 bucks. Now we've been watching this to short out of the money put spreads. We did one the other day and bailed on it, but a lot of support here. I don't know, that pattern scares me for 7 days though. These 2 railroads got upgrades, but no pattern of interest to me. Rio is down. Maybe that's dragging some of the commodities. Still ugly downtrend, no interest. CDXS getting whacked. That kind of looks like a bio gap. BTU gapping up. 30-minute high, maybe. We'll come back. EMPH. No great pattern. Oh, I know why I'm looking at these. These four are solars. So Mansion's not, not going along with the Dems, spend. And so that is hurting. That's going to hurt if that bill doesn't pass some of the EV money that's in there for them. So $68 here on TAN solar stocks. That's a bearish gap. I'm bouncing here a little bit. These are individual stocks. Said G, gapping right to the bottom of the range. That's PWR, just no pattern here, long or short. Fizzler, 68. There's just nothing here. We'll come back to them. STT, I think had earnings gapping up, but gapping a downtrend, no interest. PGR Insurance, gapping down. You know what? I'm going to watch this one to see what it does near these prior lows. If it can gap down and accelerate lower, hopefully to maybe 108, then let's see what it does. Put this in a window. MSauce, BK Bank gapping up over yesterday's high, but no pattern. USB, same. A tick 1700. Wow, that's a big tick. PNC. Wow. Look at daily, weekly, monthly. That thing's been hammered. Wow, C was up 50 cents this morning. Wow, that's a big gap. The bank, look how deep that is. So let's watch that on the pullback. All right, Walmart. Walmart is good to go. We're already in a put spread on that. Target, another potential bottoming pattern. Let's see, 30-minute high. Walmart's a better pattern. BlackRock had earnings. I don't know, 30-minute